What is this thing plugged in and secured with a screw in my Airbnb in the US? Roughly 3 by 3 inches and hard plastic front and back with grooved rubberish sides. The hole in the center goes all the way through. Seems new and is secured into the outlet and plugged in. Slightly warm, presumably from being plugged in definitely. About 1 foot off the ground. No visible writing. What is it? It is a noise-aware noise detector. I had to use these in a previous job. A sudden loud noise like dropping a pan or a random shout wouldn't trigger anything. Sustained noise above the decibel level set by the owner triggers a text or email notification to the owner. They can also log in to their account and see the volume levels throughout the day. What is this woven bamboo object found in an antique shop in Kyoto, Japan? It is filled with pebbles or rocks. I believe the owner said it had something to do with tea. Does anyone know what this is? I actually know this. They were called teikakago or gabion. These are tiny mock versions of what they used to use on riversides to stop erosion. Now they're mostly just decorations or chopstick holders, so your chopstick doesn't touch the table, but they have much smaller ones. I have some in my cupboard. What are these things my friend found while diving at Makaha, Hawaii? Orange-brown and looks like they have layers. There are 2 that are similar but not identical. They are about the size of a large grape, but shaped oddly. Hard all throughout and seem to be made up of many layers with a crease down the middle. We are suspecting they are possibly bones. These are plate teeth from a type of fish or ray, possibly pufferfish. These are basically the roof of the mouth. It's been a while, but I took a class called Marine Species and Environments in college. I remember something like this from that class. What is this thing? 10 inches long and stainless steel, I think. The ball comes off and is marked 28 mm. There are a few patches that are abrasive. The post is grooved and looks like one of those things that sizes rings. It has a slight curve. Picked it up at a thrift store several years ago. I assumed it was some kind of fancy tool. Any ideas? It's a hip replacement. My dad had one and it broke through the bone. The rough stuff on the metal is so the bone grows into it and secured it. The round part is the hip socket. What are these 2 things floated to the ground just after a large plane passed low over my house? They're gritty and rubbery, almost like dried paint. They also have a strong, overly sweet smell. I live near an airport if that matters. I found another small piece of the stuff that landed in wet grass and turned into a gooey blob. What is it? Reminds me of the flame retardant powder they have big planes fly over fires and drop, maybe a congealed chunk of it. It contains ammonia compounds, which might explain the strong sweet smell. What is this silver metal thing with a narrow bridge and spoon-like end? I have no idea what it is. The size is about a palm, maybe 6 centimeters or so. I found it in my basement. The material is some kinda metal with no writing. I reverse images searched and get nothing. What is it? They are ear cleaners, used to scoop earwax and is more common in Eastern countries. Might be confused for a drug utensil by American police, as they imagine people snorting the tiniest drug hit ever. Street vendors sell those on the sidewalks in the Philippines. What is this plastic hole filled with a foam insert underneath the Nike sneaker sole insert, only in the left shoe? The shoe was made in Vietnam and purchased in Korea. Haven't been able to find anything online about it. What is it for? It's for a Nike Plus sensor. That shoe must be at least 15 years old. There used to be a Nike product called Nike Plus. It was a small device placed into the shoe to track stats. It was used with some of the first iPhone generations. I haven't seen that Nike Plus thing in ages. What is this thing? I found a bunch of these small red cylinders under my couch. They're filled with cement-like material wrapped in paper, similar to the paper crayons are wrapped in. I have not been able to find any context googling small red cement cylinder or red cylinder filled with cement. Any thoughts? That is a firecracker. We got some of these in Texas at a fireworks stand. Adult poppets basically. But yes, that is what they are. What is this thing I've seen attached to the back of this Toyota? Appears to have some lasers or lighter system. It doesn't have any written text or logos, and the car also appears blank. It was just a civilian plate with nothing out of the ordinary. What is it? I just noticed the Road and Schwartz logo on the back of the vehicle. R&S is a well-known name in RF engineering. I'm convinced it's a Road and Schwartz brand mobile direction finding system. Using their series of antennas, the can on the extendable mast is for frequencies in the microwave region, and the larger dish looks to be one of their models for VHF or UHF. Presumably, the crew swaps the antennas out depending on what they're monitoring. What are these strange circular huts, made of brick and metal? Looks to be over a century old, found in South Carolina. Gated off so no internal pictures. Outside seems to have some brickwork designed to make small openings around the base of the structure. Any ideas? Most people don't know about these strange ruins hiding in South Carolina. These are old kilns called BEEHIVE kilns. 3 of them were constructed in 1920, and the 4th in 1932. Those 6 iron bands that you see tightly wrapped around each kiln were put in place to keep the structure from exploding when it reached extreme temperatures. What is this antenna-like thing found in a backyard near a golf course? Maybe 10 feet high. Looks like it can move, but haven't seen it move. Any ideas? That is a ham radio loop antenna made in Italy by Ciro Mazzoni Company. It's quite an expensive antenna, around $2,000. There is an antenna rotator located below the antenna. What is this gold arch decoration with a crystal in the middle of it hanging? My wife found it at a Goodwill, and I feel like it has religious backgrounds. It can rotate. I've searched all over Google for something similar, but was unable to find anything that directly looks like it. It looks religious in some ways, but I'm unable to confirm. What is it? It's a pickle caster that's been repurposed to have a hanging crystal from a chandelier. In Victorian England, the pickle caster was initially introduced as just another fancy piece of servingware, meant to carry pickled produce. Being able to have one was a kind of status symbol, as it usually correlated to being able to afford household servants. We found this while metal detecting. I believe it is thin brass about 3 to 4 inches long. It seems too thin to be a belt buckle. We were hunting an area on a mountain in Pennsylvania that had an old railroad that closed in the 1890s. The area also had a gas station that closed in the 1950s. It isn't a highly populated area or a place that has foot traffic today. I doubt anything that thin would last 100+ years in the ground. What is it? If it's thin and stamped, it's likely not a belt buckle. It's actually a decorative plate of a Civil War cartridge box. What is this thing that came into a UK scrapyard? It's brass and 175mm wide, 200mm height and 5mm depth. It weighs about 1.5 kilograms. It has an engraving that reads USS PICKLE SS524. I have googled and think it's related to a submarine, but have been unable to find more details about this exact item. Can you give us more details? Please share them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.